Okay, this session is with Dennis with SRS Bay for 10 minutes, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're going to Luxor in our finer body, and we descend into the beautiful temple there. I believe it's circular and just totally full of light, the Ascension flame. 12 beings all dressed in white are around us. Serapis is above us. And there's like an acceleration. It's almost like you're sitting in the Ascension chair, which they sometimes call the accelerator chair. But you're standing, and there's an acceleration of all the light and the cells within your being, and there's a whirling action of sacred fire. It's like a pre-ascension experience where the dross comes off, and whatever you desire to release can be let go of. And then simultaneously there's an infusion, and this is like a cosmic infusion of solar light, cosmic light, and of course the ascension currents. So what I see is like the caduceus, but multiplied about 8 times, where there's like a caduceus around you and 8 of them, and there's a pulsation within the caduceus that they're all intertwining, and it's like this cosmic collaboration of light waves whereby it harmonizes everything and brings everything into clarity, into perfection, into its inner resonant beauty and an ideal state. So part of what you've been through with the cancer, this can even impact that. So as you visualize the pulsation through your back and the area that you've had the issue, then there's like the mending of the whole cellular structure of that area. And it's almost like these science fiction movies, like with the Terminator, where the guy gets shot, but then immediately he's healed, right? In other words, they have the ability to just self-heal, like instantaneously. So that's what I'm seeing with light. And the white light is composed of all the colors. And so if you require healing, then the green is dominant. If you require transmutation, the violet's dominant. If you require the golden flame for wisdom, or the yellow flame for wisdom, then that's dominant. And whatever the cells require, the light is intelligent, and it just weaves this pulsation, and it's photonic, but it's also waves. So within the caduceus action, where there's like 8 of these intertwining caduceus wave patterns, is the photonic energy, and almost like inside of it. So as it's creating these waves, it's almost like little figure 8s that are moving around, but within them is the photons, and they pulse. And so anytime you have an issue, let's say you have a strained muscle after a hike, you just meditate for 1 to 3 minutes and feel the photonic pulsation of light. And this is like the Aquarian healing energies matrices. It's going to be light and sound. So you feel that, and maybe you could put on something that mimics like a pulsation, like And in the future they will have, well, it's even like the movie The Day the Earth Stood Still. When the guy got shot and he died, then the robot, Gort, brought him back into the ship. And what happened was he pressed this button, and there was this intense sound, and it was too much for the lady that was there. But the sound, and the frequency kept going up until it reached that resonant point where then the life was brought back into the body. So this is partly, in one sense, in a higher sense, how Jesus resurrected. The angels sang, divine beings sang, or pulsed light, sound rays, sound vibrations, and then the light was there too. And the light pulsed and phased through him, and his image was impressed on the Shroud of Turin. It's an amazing alchemy that was actually captured in the physical plane, in the cloth that he was wrapped in. So when you desire healing of any kind, let's say, in addition to using sound and light, you can also add the dynamic of holy oil, and in this case, the Palma Christi oil is very, very sacred. It's been sacred for thousands of years, even before Jesus, even though they kind of named it Palma Christi after him because of the 5 fronds of the leaf of the plant. It was sacred before Jesus was embodied. So Edgar Casey talked about that, and it's a whole science in itself. So you can utilize that oil if you choose to try to mend, accelerate the mending of your skin and that whole area. So is there anything in particular that you'd like info from Serapis Bey or help with? That you can think of?
No, just
okay.
If he has a message for me.
Well, I see now light descending right through your crown into the pineal, the pituitary pineal, and then down through the other glands that are along the spinal column. And each gland is highlighted for a moment, and the pulsation occurs to perfect how that gland is operating at optimal capacity and optimal resonance with the Christ, the glands within the Christ consciousness. So the glands are so important for all the functioning of all of our organs and systems. So you can teach, what I'm seeing is that rosary we did with the bodily systems, it's very powerful. And if you could use that at least once every 2 to 3 months during the Wednesday night service, and anybody who has either they or any relatives, friends, anybody they know who has a problem with their body, like an illness, an ailment, cancer, whatever, you can pause that almost at the point where the organ that is affected in these people that are ill is there on the screen, and meditate for a few minutes, and then have the pulsation, and then you return to the rosary going. That rosary is so powerful for healing. People don't even realize it, but it will be used in the future, even in certain more New Age type healing modality colleges where they're teaching true healing and Aquarian healing. So what Maria Men created with that is absolutely stupendous, and it should be used more. So, okay, we're still at Serapis Retreat, and now these 12 beings are they're all pulsing light. And the interpenetration and the intermingling of their pulsations is creating this huge divine vortex, which now Serapis is anchoring here in the Temple of Clarity as, he's not using the word permanent, but as an ongoing blessing and an ongoing available matrix or access for people to, when they come, especially on Wednesday nights, have the experience of the ascension currents. So you could almost take just a little portion of this and explain to people that Serapis has anchored this through your session within the Temple of Clarity, so that people can come and actually feel the ascension currents and the action of pulsation and the harmonics behind the actual ascension process. The harmonics of the ascension are studied by the disciples before they ascend, because they have to be attuned to their I Am Presence. They have to be like tuned and attuned or retuned to their divine estate of perfection and beingness. And so one of the classes that's taught is how to be in that resonant field where you can be retuned to your divine selfhood, your Christ consciousness, and the Christ energies, and the spirit life. They call it the spirit life that we had before we incarnated in the flesh. So this is a boon. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to have services on Friday nights, because Wednesday is the healing thing. But in addition to the healing light of Mother Mary and the green ray, there can also be, even if it's for 5 minutes, you can kind of lead just a little addendum to the service, which is experiencing the pulsation of the ascension currents. Now, what will that do? Well, it will help people to make greater progress, because then they're more focused on the divine goal of their union with God. And the healing, every true part of healing should lead people closer to God, because we just don't want to get well of our physical ailments. True healing is of the soul and of the spirit, so that we can be closer to God. We can be more godlike. We can be, resonant and in harmony with God. So as Mother Mary comes, she also retunes people through her beautiful emerald ray to the light of the all-seeing eye of God and the perfection of the green ray as it manifests through the lens of her being and ray field. So this is a boon. It's a boon, for the rest of your, especially the dispensations is here because you are here, because you are, as an initiate, are here holding that fire, holding that flame, holding these services, and it's going to be a tangible thing, and the little orbs that come, like the one that you captured today, which that is amazing. They will coalesce. Like when I saw the photonic energy within the pulsation, the pulsating, those currents that were like the caduceus. Well, those pulsations can be like energizing to the orbs, and what their purpose is to bring light in a very tangible way. That it breaches from the spiritual into the physical, and that's why they can appear, because there's a divine breach. It's not a negative breach, but it breaches from spirit into matter, and it's evidence, it's proof that God is real, that light is real, that meditation works, that these beings are here, and Carla is partly behind us. So it's Lady Clarity. So it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So that's pretty much what I see. 13 minutes, is that good enough?
Oh yeah.
Okay.